and welcome to the 77th edition of the Monster Energy FIM Motocross of Nations. We are at Matterley Basin in Great Britain. My name is Paul Malin, Jason Thomas from Fly Racing alongside me for the broadcast. All three races coming up live today in the latest edition of the most famous race of all. We are at Matterley Basin. It's the third time the Motocross of Nations has been held here, 2006, 2017, and now again in 2024. And this will be the 11th time this race has been held on British soil. And what a beautiful city it is down there. Not so pretty today, though. It's the mist is rolling in, the drizzle is starting to fall, but the track is still sticky, it's perfect. No rain in the last 3 or 4 days, and it's just starting to build up now. The atmosphere is also building up, as you can imagine. Jason Thomas, the racing so far today and over the weekend has been absolutely electric, and I say today because we have to include the B final in that, but we're getting ready now. This is for the Chamberlain Trophy. Yeah, it's lived up to the reputation. You know, I think this is the biggest motocross event on the calendar, and you expect everybody to bring their A game, and I think that's exactly what we've gotten, and Sunday's only going to build on that. Well, the first ever Motocross of Nations back in 1947 at Wassenaar in the Netherlands, just north of The Hague or Den Haag, and the team that won that day, Team Great Britain. And actually, when you look at their stats for the first 20 years, Britain either finished first or second. They were non-classified on one occasion, and they didn't go to the other one in Russia. They had a phenomenal record, but then it kind of petered out. The last win was 1967 before Team GB were victorious 27 years later, and it's been 30 years since that victory. But France are the defending champions coming in. There's the racetrack, that's what it looks like, and we will take a look at the racetrack in more detail in a few moments because there are a couple of changes. We'll pull them up on the screen as we go around, but it's just after the start, just after pit lane. But what an atmosphere as always. Last year it was Ernée. This weekend we are in Great Britain. Let's take a look at the track. Here's our GoPro track preview. Max Anstey, Team Great Britain, riding in the MX2 category. Jason Meara, the Irish didn't qualify this weekend, but he was available to do the GoPro lap for us yesterday. And Maxime Renault, part of the French team that's defending the Peter Chamberlain Trophy this weekend. That unique drop-in start, Jason, unlike anywhere else. Yeah, it is, and I think it changes their start technique a little bit, but in the end, the best starters are going to get the best starts, and this will be no different. So it's a nice, wide and long start straight into that sweeping right-hand turn, and just on the edge of the dirt you can ride the bank if you're forced all the way to the outside. This was after the MX Open practice, so the third practice yesterday. Look how sticky and rutty it was. And past pit lane, here's the first track change. We used to come down, do a 180, go back up, do a 180 and come back down to the opposite side. But as you can see, we now hit this small double through turn 3. This is turn 4 that continues uphill. We've got some waves here and this little single on the inside. The original turn 5 remains. Yeah, you can see how tricky all these race sections of the racetrack are. You go over the Liqui Moly tabletop here, and I think we're going to see a better racetrack than you're seeing necessarily right here. Just less treacherous, a little bit higher speeds, I think, as well. And we used to get to the bottom here, go back up and down and swing back around to this part of the racetrack, but now we continue through over the city single into this left-hander. One more change on the racetrack, and that's just the other side of this step down. Remember the uphill quad? Riders only starting to jump that today because of improved track conditions, but we used to have that long sweeping right-hand turn that then tightened up into the GoPro waves. Now we just turn directly into the GoPro waves. They are a lot shallower than before, but look at how the ruts and everything are really starting to shape up. Yeah, the track was constantly changing. You see, it's almost like Play-Doh. Well, it's going to mold and it's going to change throughout the. You're going to see that again on Sunday, but the track was much, much softer yesterday. The nature of the ground here, traditionally underneath, is quite chalky, so don't be surprised to see white flashes of chalk. And if we do get that rain and that drizzle, then of course that will be a part of the racetrack that will start to spin up. Riders won't have a lot of traction, so that could be a determining factor. And also the rain that might be on its way. Dropping downhill for the final time into the bottom of the valley. This place was absolutely rammed yesterday. We go right into the ram jump, this tabletop here on the corner. And as we pull through this left-hand turn, this is the final climb up towards the finish line. That triple into the left and then the right. And that right-hand turn, Jason, is off-cambered, falling away from right to left, look, a negative camber. Yeah, and it's really hard to see from the GoPro or any television angles, but the cambers that you're speaking about where you start to lose traction, you're going to see guys ride
whip there. You see riders leaning in and out using body position to increase traction there.
So the finish line then is the third of the monster bridges. We turn right, back down the start straight. Elvis Presley, home.
He's a long way from home.
Good to see the enthusiasm and the fans getting out there and being a part of it, which makes this event so special. Bit premature with the ice cream ban there, but I'm sure it tastes the same on a wet day, just as good as it does on a hot summer's day, Jace.
Yeah, I think that many people in the crowd there don't know if it's daytime, nighttime. They've been partying for about 72 hours now.
Let's go down to Lisa. She was on the grid. She caught up with Belgium's number 14 rider, Lucas Coenen. Before that, though, RV2, Ryan Villopoto.
So I'm just on the start of the first race of the day, MXGP MX2, but we do have a special guest with us here. It's 4 times Motocross of Nations winner, Ryan Villopoto. Ryan, you're here at Matterley Basin, another Motocross of Nations. You've done your fair share in your career. Just tell us what's so special about this event that many riders want to be a part of.
Man, honestly, it's like a big festival for motorcycles. This is the biggest stage to race two wheels on in the dirt bike world. So I'm just glad to be back. 06 was my first year here. We were able to take the win home. The Chamberlain Cup home, and it was very, very special. So, yeah, I love being here.
Well, I saw you earlier and today with the Blue Crew, the Yamaha Blue Crew. It's really important to nurture that young talent. What was your role with them? What's your role with Yamaha this weekend? Yeah.
So we had 3 American kids, a 65, 85, 125, and I think there's a total of 125, 26 kids. So gates were full with all of those bikes out there, and for us, for the U.S. side, just try to give them a little insight on how the conditions will be, how Europe is. It's a big jump from over here, and a lot of them haven't come. So, I just hope they take it all in, because this on this stage with this many fans, it's very special.
And just finally, Ryan, Team USA, they qualified in 9th coming in today's races. What can they do today?
Yeah, I mean, we got to get off the line, right? We got to get off the line. I think we had some decent starts for AP and Coop. Eli could do a little bit better on the gate, obviously, in the qualifying race, but that was yesterday. Today's a new day. We have a good shot at winning, but there's a lot of tough teams out there this year, and we're just going to give it our best and hopefully end up on that podium.
Enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you. Ryan Villopoto there. Let's catch up with...
So apologies there then. Obviously, we've had a lot going on down here today with all kinds of things. And obviously, sorry that we didn't get to hear from Lucas Coenen.
Ryan Villopoto had a lot to say.
Yes.
I mean, that was what I took away from it.
Anyway, here's how the riders line up then, and it was a victory for Spain, and the qualifying races, they get a line on first, and this is the MXGP and MX2 riders, so Prado and Oliver, Febvre, Vial, Lawrence and Webster, Kyle Webster, Tommy Searle, Max Anstey for Great Britain. That's how they qualified. Remember, Roczen and Langenfelder for Germany, Herlings de Wolf for the Netherlands, Gajser, Pekka, and Donnik Coenen. There's some stacked riders in there in those two categories. Then we've got Tomac and Webb, JT, for the US.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if, as Villopoto mentioned, if Tomac can gate better than he did yesterday. Remember, you're doubling the talent, doubling the amount of riders on the racetrack, so a poor start will hurt you much worse today.
The team there, number 20, Latvia, with Maris Pumpus and their MX2 rider, Carlos Racialis. They had to go through the B final, and that was a nail-biter as well. They went through scoring 2 points more or less than Sweden. Tom Vial, Team France, he was pretty impressive in the MX2 Ram qualifying race yesterday, but he was hard pushed by Lucas Coenen of Team Belgium. And the 52 there, Jeffrey Herlings, 5th in his race, but he did have a fall, didn't he, as well?
Yeah, I'm looking here to see the gates. You see a lot of the MX2 riders on the inside. That's the big question for these races. You see Kyle Webster down there. You see Tom Vial down there. MXGP guys going to the outside, so you're basically forcing those MX2 riders to get a good start.
Well, let's do the scoring system before we go anywhere. Here's how it's scored at the Motocross of Nations here, sponsored by Monster Energy. 3 riders per team. And from there, it's the previous year's result that determines the numbers. So France are the defending champions. They get the numbers 1, 2, and 3. We get 3 races. The first one up today is MXGP and MX2. And the lowest result is how you score the overall classification. So 1 point for a race win, 2 for second, 3 for third. And then it's your best 5 results. So out of the 6 counting, you can drop your worst score. And we are getting ready. The Fly Racing 15-second board is up then for the first of 3 times today. Big hitters to the inside on the 450s. Herlings, Tomac in there. It's a drizzly day. It's the first time we've had rain all weekend. The start gates might be a little bit greasy. Who is it going to be that pulls the foxhole shot? The Dama up the inside. Tommy Searle up the inside. So too the number 2 of Tom Vial of France on the 250. But Prado from the outside, swinging in. Foxhole shot, 149 in his career as he takes the first one here in the Matterley Basin. Gajser there behind him in second, Herlings third.
Tomac and Herlings got together. They both came out inside the top 5, which is amazing for the contact that they had.
Working our way uphill, fans absolutely on their feet. Herlings tailing Gajser, Tomac just behind him, Roczen in there as well on the yellow Suzuki. So kickstart Kenny in there in 5th place for Germany. Then we've got Siwa, Kyle Webster, the first of the MX2 riders for Australia, Febvre, Lucas Coenen, the second of the MX2 riders for Belgium. Then we've got Lopez, then we've got a handful of MX2s, Mikkola, Adamo, Harp and De Wolf in 14th place.
Yeah, you see Roczen making quick moves. This is what he's known for, these early laps. He has so much sprint speed, so I expect to see him attack Herlings straight away. Goes for the quad there.
Bial down in 20th position with a lot of work to do.
Yeah, he got squeezed a bit on the inside. He had a great jump coming down the hill, and that's just the 250 versus the 450. He got out dragged to that first corner.
So Eli Tomac just getting caught napping in the opening few corners, and his legs are off the bike there. And look at Roczen. He moves into 3rd place. 2 big scalps in a couple of corners. Roczen now to 3rd.
Yeah, immediately he goes to his best pace. It is such a unique talent that he has. It wouldn't shock me to see him get to the front, which I think it would surprise Prado. The trouble for Kenny, can he maintain this pace for the next 30 minutes? That's always the question for Ken Roczen.
Herlings trying to make a look down the inside, and Kenny chasing the dirt. Was out there on a parade lap a few moments ago, and it's rutty, but not like it was yesterday, but it's still sticky, and absolutely perfect conditions today. It's just where it's a little bit shiny on these jump faces with this drizzle. That's where it might be a little bit tricky for the riders.
I'll tell you, a huge coup is Kyle Webster in 8th place on the 250. That is an incredible start.
Herlings trying to out-drag Roczen, and he hits over the line in 3rd position, finds his way back past the number 10 to move into 3rd for the Netherlands. And look at this, different nationalities: Spain, Slovenia, Netherlands, Germany, America, France, Switzerland, and then an Australian.
See Gajser attacking Prado. It's something he was unable to do yesterday. And we want to mention Hunter Lawrence down in 19th position. He went with that outside gate that gave the inside gate to Kyle Webster, which worked. But the downside of that is you really need Hunter Lawrence to get off the gate, get down to the first corner, and salvage that start, which he was unable to do.
Like old times between Herlings and Roczen, going back to sort of 2010, 2011, when they were both riding MX2. These two tearing absolute strips off of each other, going bar to bar, keeping it clean low. That is the important thing, as they go after Gajser there and Prado at the bottom of the hill. Herlings having another look around the outside of Kenny this time around, but it's Kenny who holds the inside line there. Roczen on the number 10.
Well, look at the lineup through the top 7. Prado, Gajser, Herlings, Roczen, Tomac, Febvre, Siwa. That is a who's who of MXGP and Pro Motocross right at the front, right away.
Lucas Coenen up into 9th place now. Vial, he's gone from 20th to 10th. That has been a fantastic opening lap for Vial on the number 2 for Team France.
And the track's a lot better than it was yesterday. These riders got a warm-up session, but you can see how much more they're able to attack the racetrack versus the way they almost just had to kind of contend with it and take what the track gave them yesterday.
Gajser having a cheeky look at the inside. He's on the pegs, trying to counterbalance. Can he get on the gas? He can't. It's the gas of Prado that stays ahead, and these two have been going bar to bar all year long, and Gajser around the outside. He leads for Slovenia in the early stages on the opening lap here.
Yeah, that was a brilliant move. You don't see often passes made there around the outside, but Gajser was just so aggressive. And also there's so much traction, he was able to hold that high line all the way around.
Here's, Tomac and trying to go around, and he's up the inside of Roczen. This is in the final turn. And he goes through, so all of a sudden we've got Gajser, Prado, Herlings, Tomac now 4th. The Americans coming alive, and Febvre from out of nowhere. He's found his way past Kenny. He was having a look at Tomac. And Herlings spins out for the Netherlands, out of 3rd place. Big mistake, he got that wrong going in, and he couldn't correct it. Herlings is down, a costly error.
Yeah, a little bit of chaos there. Everybody was looking around at each other, and you almost get so consumed by what everybody else is doing. You saw Febvre looking around, and I think Herlings just got ahead of himself. He picked up the throttle a little bit earlier because of the urgency he felt behind him.
So Herlings, it'll be interesting to see where he remounts, but he's going to be outside of the top 10 for sure.
You see Tomac, this is a really positive sign for Tomac. The worry with him is that he would get dropped early because he takes a little bit to get going. For him to still be in sight of Gajser and Prado is a far departure from what we saw yesterday.
In the qualifying race. Didn't make a great start, did he? And conditions, I was talking to John Tomac, his dad, this morning, and he said, yeah, obviously never been here before. The conditions were very sticky. Riders quadding now. They weren't doing that yesterday. Not everybody doing it. And you see how much of an advantage that is for someone like Tomac or Gajser that did it when Prado wasn't able to.
Yeah, and Tomac's a rider that feeds off momentum. When it's going his direction and he's closing in, he really leans into that, and it charges him forward. You see how much momentum, the confidence gained right now for Tomac is immeasurable compared to where yesterday he couldn't even see the front after a couple of laps. This is a totally different dynamic for him.
Eli Tomac then. Beast modes his way into second. Did he lose the front? Oh, I tell you what, that was very, very close. We just panned away, and then thankfully he was still up on two wheels as we came back to this shot. But Tomac now second. He's moved past Prado into third. He's got Gajser ahead of him. And that gap around about 2.5 seconds. Gajser was fastest last time around, a 2:02.7, but now he's got the 22 behind him for Team USA.
Yeah, and those mistakes are a little scary, yes, but when Eli Tomac is riding his best, he's loose, right? He has a tendency to get really tight, get arm pump, and not ride his best, and it's noticeable visually. This is not that Eli Tomac.
This is the battle with the big hitters. Gajser, Tomac, Prado, third, Febvre now in fourth. Seawer 5, Roczen 6, but we've got 3 MX2 riders, 7, 8, 9. Lucas Coenen is up to 7. Watch this here, round the outside. Eli Tomac chasing the dirt, didn't get held up in the ruts as Prado did, and it was an easy move for the American in the end for second.
Yeah, and nice adjustment by Tomac. That's the same inside rut he had got caught out in the lap before, so he adjusts to the outside. Prado makes a mistake, Tomac rides right by.
So we've got Gajser leading the way. The first 6 riders are all MXGP riders, the first MX2, and there are 3 of them in a row, 7, 8, 9. Lucas Coenen for Belgium, Kyle Webster, Australia, and De Wolf of the Netherlands. Herlings down in 12th place after that fall a couple of laps ago.
Yeah, Tomac goes 2:01, which is purple, the quickest lap of the race so far in the last lap. And I just think he is able to ride this track much more aggressively. We're going to come back to that. The track is just so much quicker than yesterday.
So we've got Febvre closing in on Jorge Prado, and you see the difference there with the quad or not to quad. That is a question. But just lurking in the background behind Kenny, look at the rider there at the back of the shot on the GoPro waves. The MX2 rider, the 250, Lucas Coenen, now only 8.6 seconds off the lead. That's it on the right-hand side there, the 14 of Belgium. He was rapid yesterday in the MX2 qualifying race, but he lost the front end through here chasing Tom Vial. Vial still parked in 15th. He got up to 10th and back down to 15th again. Not the ride the MX2 rider, 14 France, was after so far.
Yeah, and Roczen's going to be wondering who it is. He's going to hear the different sound of the 250 and know it can be Vial, it can be Coenen, it can be De Wolf. He's going to see Coenen really quickly because he is making up time in every single corner right now.
And Lucas Coenen in the background there over on the left-hand side of your screen. He's all over the back of Kenny Roczen, stays a little bit low over the ram jump. I asked him yesterday in the media conference, the press conference, is this the kind of track where a 250 could beat a 450? And he wasn't sure. I tell you what, he's putting everything on the line here. I think we could see an MX2 bike win a race here this weekend.
Yeah, and on a track that's tricky like this, where aggression is at a premium, the 250 allows you to push more. It's just a little bit more nimble. It doesn't feel as heavy in some of those ruts, and you can just see how much more aggressive Coenen is able to be. Now, he is down on power, which is going to suffer on the start, but you see him able to cut back across lines. He can just move the motorcycle around a little bit more, push deeper into the corners. You see how early he picks up the throttle. You know, he's going to lose here to Roczen because Roczen has so much more power.
Well, only just, and Roczen bounces out of his line there, and Coenen is going to nip up the inside. Are we going to see him move past the German? Yes, we are. He's got to go the long way round here, though. He's moving. Oh, I tell you what, Roczen just closes the door on him. He knew the pesky little Belgian was there, who looks across again, outsmarts the number 10, and Coenen now up into 6th place for Belgium.
Yeah, you can see how hard Roczen was pushing there. He did not want to let Coenen by, but Coenen was not to be denied there. He's headed towards the front. We'll see how far he can get.
Further down the order, we've got the Italians in 17th place. We've got the first of the Brits, Tommy Searle, in 18th. His wingman, Max Anstey, in 21st place. But this is early stages yet, early doors in this first opening race here at the MX of Nations at Matterley Basin.
Now Roczen here will try to pick up some of Coenen's lines and latch onto the back of him. You know, the interesting thing is I think you can choose different lines on the 250 versus the 450, so they may not work just trying to latch onto him. He may have to stick to his own plan versus adopting what Lucas Coenen is doing.
And Astana Svana has been rapid all year. His teammate in the World Championship, Kaider Wolf, they were all locked together. He's now about 4 or 5 seconds behind Lucas Coenen, the Belgian, tramming on. This is the leaders here. They were separated by about a second a moment ago. It's 1.2. Gajser, the lead rider in shot, over on the right-hand side. Eli Tomac heading up towards the completion of lap 4, going after the 5-time world champion.
Yeah, I cannot overstate how important this is for Tomac right now to be in this position at this stage of the race.
Lucas Coenen outside, inside here. Oh no, he decides to check up. He decides to go the long way round, and Seewer can't get on the gas, and Coenen side by side. Seewer is going to try and burst back alongside him when he closed off the door. Well, we saw how quick Coenen was here a lap ago. This time, he buries it around the outside. No cutbacks for the 14, but that is an impressive performance already for the Belgian. Seewer can hear him to the outside here.
These MXGP regulars do not want to get passed by Lucas Coenen here. It's just a rite of passage, same bump that Ken Roczen hit. You can see how hard they're pushing into that section. But again, being passed by an MX2 rider is not ideal for these MXGP, the elite of MXGP at that.
Oh, I tell you what, he still had to work hard for that, didn't he? Did you see the right-hander at the bottom of the hill and then into the double? That's where he made that pass. Lucas Coenen on Jeremy Seewer. Coenen now up in the 5th place.
It's really impressive. He's going inside, outside. It really doesn't matter which line he chooses. He's able to make it work. Now, I think sometimes he's got to protect a little bit. Tomac going for the quad there, but it's what makes this race so special is those interactions. We would never see that elsewhere as Lucas Coenen battling against the likes of Ken Roczen.
Well, let's take a breather here for a moment, because what as we look at the battle for the lead over on the right-hand side, Australia are leading the way by a point at the moment, unbelievably. That's how mixed things are on 18 points, a 10th for their MXGP rider, Hunter Lawrence, and 8th for their MX2 rider, Kyle Webster. Romain Febvre, though, having a look on the right side here, trying to go around Jorge Prado, as Eli Tomac trying to dig himself another point. He's there in second, trying to find his way past Tim Gajser. These two separated by not even a second. And Tomac to the inside. 2 battles for the lead. A battle here for second. And third, sorry.
And all of the MX2 riders we're not talking about that are going to factor in here. Cooper Webb in 18th, Tom Vial in 15th, Andrea Adamo for Italy in 16th. Like, all those scores are going to play a role. They're not at the front, but
Febvre!
Oh, look at that move there.
Charges down. I tell you what, taking no prisoners. Has a look back, see if the Spaniard's still there. The answer is yes, but Febvre won't care about that. These conditions suit him. He won the Nations here with France in 2017 in far worse conditions. The circuit and the race coming alive for the Frenchman.
Yeah, curious to see Prado here. Not many riders have done what these 3 are doing to him all season long. You just wonder if he's struggling with the conditions, maybe riding a little bit tight, because he looked much, much smoother and more aggressive yesterday.
Maggiora springs to mind.
Yeah, and you wonder if it's just a little bit of championship hangover too, right? So much emphasis put on the World Championship. He just looks a little flat here in race 1.
Nothing in it between Gajser and Tomac, 2 giants of the sport, going wheel to wheel. Will they go bar to bar? Who will win out? Will it be the Slovenian? Will it be the American? The last time he rode was back in America 2022. Eli Tomac. People were telling me coming into this weekend whether they thought Tomac was 100% in the game here, because maybe some were suggesting as well that he didn't really want to come here, but it was a last-ditch effort to get him here. And here he is. He's putting everything in, and I think that's the difference, isn't it? When you've got a racer like Tomac, all of a sudden, when you're here, you put your helmet on, the gate drops, all you want to do is go out and win. Winning for him is, losing for him is not an option.
Yeah, and you see Ken Roczen working on Jeremy Seewer. But on the Tomac subject, there was a lot of should he or shouldn't he going back to the final few pro motocross races of the year. And I look at Eli Tomac and I think of a rider that can go out and win individual races at this event when he's 100%. That's why I thought he should be on the team. I'm so happy he's here, and he's proving exactly why.
Jeffrey Herlings, he's on the charge. He's found he's up the inside of Kyle Webster in yellow. He moves up into 10th place after that mistake. Lawrence is in 9th place for the Australians.
Incredible ride from Webster, though. Multiple crashes in the qualifier yesterday. Everybody was wondering, could he rally and find a way to get a result today? He has absolutely shown up in race 1.
well, we'll give you the get the first 10-15 teams over the line this time around at the end of this lap, and we'll show you how the classification is showing out at the moment. Kai de Wolf under pressure here from the number 4 of Australia, Hunter Lawrence on the 450. HRC machine, and de Wolf bumps him to the outside on the run to the finish line. Crazy move that.
Yeah, somewhere near about respect your elders maybe for de Wolf, but I have a feeling Hunter Lawrence is not going to take too kindly to that.
50-50 racing incident, maybe you're on the outside.
Yeah,
you
but
know
just
the
a
corner's
double
going to
move
swing
there,
around.
yeah.
And this was Webster getting caught and passed by his teammate a moment ago, and Herlings going around the outside as well. So Lawrence now 9, Herlings 10, Webster 11, and there are, what, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 riders from MX2 inside the top 20. Anstey down there in 19th place for Team GB. He's found his way past his teammate Tommy Searle, who's now in 22nd place. But it's the Netherlands who now go to the top of the leaderboard. They are with a 10 and an 8, so 18 points for them. The USA, France, Australia, all on 20 points, tied for second. Belgium on 25, Italy on 27.
And you look at a score from like Cooper Webb in 17th or Andre Adamo in 15th, you don't want to have to use this score, but you might need it, so very important to put in a good result right now.
So this was Jeffrey Herlings a couple of laps ago. He was in 3rd place here. He got hung up on the bank, and then he tried to get on the gas. The front went around, the back end came around. Good avoidance skills there from Romain Febvre. You could see something was happening. He stayed off the gas,
that's exactly right,
and then rolled it on as soon as he was clear.
As soon as he saw Herlings miss with the rear, then miss with the front, he was already taking evasive maneuvers.
But a good fight back for Jeffrey Herlings, because he dropped down from 3rd to 12th. He's now there in 9th place, and that will fire him up, I think, for the Netherlands.
Yeah, and I think Hunter Lawrence is going to be fired up too. He hasn't not been able to close back up to the rear, but Herlings watched all of that, right? He saw all of that unfold, and what it's doing, what Kai de Wolf is doing here, is also helping Herlings drag him back to the front to get to the fight.
I'm surprised at Tom Vial. He was very, very good yesterday in the MX2 Ram qualifying race, coming home with the 1 point for Team France. He has been up and down the wrong side of the top 10 since the start of the race. He was down in 20th, up to 10th, down to 15th. He's now being pushed down to 19th place, and he's been down, I think, because he's now in 21st, because Raceless 16, Webb 17, Anstey 18, McClellan and Van Donnick of Belgium. Tom Vial having an absolute nightmare here. Team France, they are going to be under pressure to perform in the next 2 races. They'll be hoping to throw away that 21 score of Vial.
Yeah, now over the last decade or so, that's the type of result that France has been able to avoid. They have been able to avoid the key mistake, and we see Vial here. Certainly he's had several issues in here because he's been up and down, as you mentioned, but for France, it's very atypical for them to have these crashes.
Hunter Lawrence might be coming in for goggles. We might see the goggle lane in action, and also Tom Vial wiping as well. Have those roll-offs stuck, and he can't pull them, which is why he's using the thumb wipe technique. Goggle lane is just at the end of pit lane there on the left-hand side. Not seen anybody using it just yet. Maybe we'll keep a camera down there just in case. These conditions, these constant drizzly conditions, they're an absolute nightmare. Waved yellows. Yeah, Adamo's come in for goggles. And he can't get himself, he's got himself going again.
And there's no right answer, right? It takes so long to pull in to make goggles. You're almost trying to do a math equation. Can you make up that much more time if you get goggles back on? But you're right, rain is almost the most difficult because you can't see. Everything gets distorted by the water on your goggles.
Herlings, good drive around the outside. And Lawrence also struggling with visibility. Wasn't clean out of the corner. Despite the mistake going out of the left-hander at the end of the waves for Jeffrey Herlings, he managed to pull it back, rescue it, change his line, get around the outside, get that drive, and Herlings now past the Australian. He's back into 9th place.
Yeah, Hunter, I think there's definitely, pass for the, Febvre catching up to Tomac. I wonder how much Gajser's got a 4-second gap here. But on Hunter Lawrence, he certainly can't see. I saw Kyle Webster right behind him, so we'll see. It'll be interesting to see if he pulls in or not.
The last split, he lost 2 seconds. Eli Tomac, 25.9 and a 27.5 for Febvre. That's where that time was lost. Also in Sector 2, Max Anstey has gone down for Great Britain, and he's dropping down the leaderboard. He's down in 27, 28, 29th place at the moment. So not a good homecoming at the moment for Team GB. Oh, and he's down. That's coming out of turn 4, and he's gone down hard as well. Can only imagine a high side. Oh, here we go.
Right here, this section where Tomac is.
So it's that part of the racetrack.
Laying on the side there. Yeah, that's really unfortunate for Team GB.
So Anstey out. Hopefully he's okay too. get himself in the race. And unfortunately, as an MX2 rider, he is in the next race, the middle race, race 2.
That'll put a lot of pressure on Tommy Searle because they're going to need both of Tommy Searle's scores now.
Hunter Lawrence has come in for fresh goggles. That's why the goggle lane is there. It's safer to change there than to come bombing down pit lane at 1,000,000 miles an hour when there might be journalists or team personnel all over the place. But look at Febvre. He is smooth, he's calculated, he's in that 3rd place, and he's not looking like he's under any kind of duress.
Yeah, and I want to see, so Hunter Lawrence's last lap around was a 2:08 when he was under goggle pressure there. Let's see what he's able to do with clean goggles now, because that's the question. Can you make up that amount of time lost? He's going to need to drop back down to that 2:05, 2:06 range to make it worth it.
A good response is from Eli Tomac since his last lap, because Febvre was all over him a lap ago. So that mistake, or whatever it was that cost him time in Sector 2 and Sector 4, he now looks like he's got himself back on track. Eli Tomac here on the Yamaha for Team USA, the lead rider in shot, bottom of the hill. He's there in second, looking to pull away. He's about 1.5 seconds clear of Febvre. Prado starting to get lively, but so too Lucas Coenen.
Yeah, that's exactly
this will
right.
be tasty, won't it?
Coenen is pushing Prado back to the front. We may have a 4-way battle here before long.
We've still got, you know the good news, 9.5 minutes plus 2 to go.
Yeah, and I was wondering kind of how would Prado respond to this, but he has answered the bell. He has pushed the pace. He dropped back down to a 2:04, which was 2 and 3 seconds quicker than Febvre and Tomac the prior laps.
Still pulling the toggle on the roll-off there. Lucas Coenen, he's still the lead rider in MX2 in 5th place. The second MX2 rider is Kai de Wolf of the Netherlands. He is in 7th place. The third MX2 rider is Kyle Webster for Australia. He is in 10th. And then we've got, again, 3 MX2 riders back-to-back from 15th, 16th, 17th. Carlos Racelis of Latvia, who came through the B final to win that. Camden McClellan of South Africa, and Cooper Webb. Then we've got Vial back into 19th, and Hara for Denmark in 20th. Here's de Wolf, the first sighting of our newly crowned MX2 world champ from Spain a week ago. He has, well, he wasn't too far away from his teammate, was he? But he's about 10 seconds behind him. So Coenen carrying that same kind of pace. Bit of a love tap here. That was decent, wasn't it? Up the inside of Kenny. Coming under attack on those MX2 machines.
Yeah, Kai de Wolf not intimidated by these MXGP riders. You saw him get aggressive with Hunter. You see him get aggressive with Kenny Roczen. Maybe he's got the same thing in mind for Jeremy Seaver here as well.
But the advantage is, in many respects, with the 250 machine. You know, the ruts are a lot deeper, they're a lot stickier. The bike on a 250, a lot lighter, more nimble. You can flick it in, change direction so much easier. Yeah, a moment there for him, though.
And I think the important thing is he needs to remember that in his line choice. You can't get locked into what the 450 is doing in front of you. You have to stick to your own game plan. You see him taking different lines, which I think same for Lucas Coenen. You need to remember which motorcycle you're on. Even though you're making wild mistakes like that, a 250 will allow that.
So a good charge then, second half race charge for the number 53 in orange. Up on the pegs, Kai de Wolf, that was so nice. Up on the pegs all the way round. That was absolutely sublime.
We saw Lucas Coenen try to do that yesterday and end up on the ground. So much balance and core strength to be able to stand up and ride through that rut the way he did.
It's off camber, it's downhill. The only thing keeping you up there is that rut, but there are so many holes and hidden things in there, like the limestone, the chalk, that is now starting to show through in certain places. Seward is definitely picking up his pace. He's probably had a board signal. He's probably had a cheeky look over the shoulder and knows that de Wolf is about a second behind him. But it's Gajser who continues to lead. He's now 5 seconds clear of Eli Tomac. Febvre third for France. Prado fourth for Spain. And we've got Lucas Coenen in 5th. Jeremy Seward 6th of Switzerland. The Netherlands of de Wolf in 7th. As Herlings once again onto the rear wheel of Ken Roczen of Germany, and he's looking to cut back to the inside. Roczen didn't know he was there, and it was an easy move in the end for the 52 for the Netherlands. Roczen coming back though.
Yeah, nice angle from Jeffrey there, set him up, and that all started in the corner after the finish line. So set him up to go outside to inside and then back outside. Really kind of nice thought ahead for Herlings to make that move.
So Herlings now up into 8th place. Here's how he did it. He'd already done the work coming out of the previous turn, set himself up, centre of the start straight, swept down the inside, decided not to go for any ruts, just went for a little bit sort of less grabby atmosphere, if you like.
Yeah, and he just opened up the corner a little bit, so through the apex, he was going significantly faster than Roczen was.
Not easy conditions, that drizzle, that circuit, it's not changing drastically, but lap by lap, little by little, a little bit more sheen on the top there, making it unpredictable.
And those ruts are getting a little bit deeper, but again, very, very different conditions from yesterday. It may look similar, but the way these guys are able to ride the track is just in a very, very much more aggressive way.
Jeffrey Herlings on the charge. He is now behind his teammate. He's in 8th place. DeWolf 7th, about 3.5 seconds further up. It's not going to change the overall score in there. Oh, look at DeWolf all over the back of Siwa in the next turn. The left-hander getting ready to drop downhill. I'd like to go back to that battle if we can. Here we go. Siwa just here, hanging on once more. He's got the Dutchman, the lead Dutchman on the MX2 machine, Kai DeWolf, having a look down the inside here.
And he's going about it the right way, inside, outside, wherever Jeremy Siwa is not, that's where you'll find Kai DeWolf.
Netherlands leading the way. They are on 16. The USA second on 20. Belgium and Australia on 22 with 5 minutes plus 2 laps to go. And then France on 27, but they are looking at a 3 and a 24. They'll be hoping to throw away the 24 of Vial. And you know what? It's not until that last race, is it, that everything starts to reshuffle. France could go to the top of the pile with 2 good scores in the next race, potentially.
Yeah, Hunter Oren's back up to 11th, turning 206s. So that those goggles saved him at least 2 seconds a lap thus far. You don't have to imagine it would have gotten much worse. Kai DeWolf almost made a huge mistake there coming down that hill. Yeah,
you got to speculate to accumulate. Eye up the, risk versus reward kind of thing. Do you stay out and ride with visibility issues, or do you take a 5-second gamble that you lose, but then you're pulling 2 seconds a lap after that over the picture, over the next few laps? You will be gaining in a time anyway.
Yeah, and that slow lap was a 2:15, so you figure 8 to 9 seconds is what he needs to make up.
Once again, DeWolf up on the pegs around the outside. Siwa just losing the front there ever so slightly on the exit of that left-hander. They are, 9 seconds behind Lucas Coenen, the lead MX2 rider in 5th. He's not been able to capitalise on Prado. Prado got the hurry up when he realised he was under pressure from the Belgian. Jakob Pekalai, the Slovenian rider, Gajser's teammate in the blue and green, holding that tight line to the inside. He is down the order, isn't he? Because Slovenia, 36th place. 35th even.
See DeWolf using that inside again. He's just trying to shorten up the racetrack a bit too, and I think there are some lines, you're going to see him coming from the outside to open this corner up, a little bit of cut down in this corner. He's not following Jeremy Siwa around the racetrack.
Got flags here, the other side. Is this one of our lead riders? Is it a back marker? It's Lucas Coenen. Coenen has gone down. Coenen is out of 5th, and he looks like he's hurt as well.
That's a bummer.
And he's he's injured the shoulder. And this is what happens when you push. Louis Voster's there from Fantic, just trying to hold that bike up just to try and protect him there on the infield. But he's gone down hard on that left shoulder. Lucas Coenen, and Belgium's champion. That's either a collarbone or a dislocation, isn't it? And that could be Belgian out of the running. Sasha there, I think, talking to him as well in the Red Bull jacket. Out of the race, Lucas Coenen, a team that came into here with such disarray. We're going, we're not going, we come in, and Lucas Coenen puts in a performance like he did yesterday in the qualifying race, and all of a sudden, it's all gone a little bit, Pete Tong. It's all gone wrong.
Yeah, let's hope it looks worse than it is. I didn't see the grimace on his face. I'm just hoping it's a stinger or something. Forget about today, just moving forward from here.
Febvre and Tomac now about a second apart on the right-hand side through the GoPro wave section. Gets past the back marker, does the American. The French rider, the #1 defending champion, has been very, very patient, is the word I would use. Romain Febvre hasn't rushed like a Lucas Coenen.
Yeah, and there's so much of a yo-yo effect. Every time somebody makes a mistake, they'll pull out 2.5 seconds, and then that closes right back up. And some of that is inside, outside. Tomac looked like he was going to lose a lot of time going into the outside, but he was able to accelerate so cleanly, exiting and jump over that single that he immediately drew that gap back out.
And I can't sort of illustrate how open this Nations is in this first race. When you've got a score of 13 for the Netherlands leading the way, the USA are second on 20, tied with Australia on 20. They've got some big scores to drop.
So Febvre's pulled his goggles off, so you're going to see him duck his head right there every time he gets behind Tomac. That is so brutal. Not only the rain, but that roost is going right inside the goggle port of that helmet. So if he's either going to have to make a move quickly or not at all, because he cannot withstand the roost. You see him just ducking. You can't even see where you're going.
It's dirt, but the dirt on the track is like stones anyway, and you can see the white pebbles, the chalk. So is that now going to play into the hands of Jorge Prado, who was guaranteed there that foxhole shot in this first race? 149 in his career since 2016. That is unbelievable.
Yeah, so watch for Febvre. He's either going to sit back and accept the third place, or he's going to have to go up and make a move all at once. Sitting in that roost zone is absolutely unacceptable.
Well, the Netherlands have a 6-point advantage at the moment over Australia, because Hunter Lawrence has found his way into 8th place now. He's found his way past Kenny Roczen. So we've got Gajser, Slovenia, Tomac, the USA, Febvre of France. They are your top 3. Febvre, goggleless, as he follows the American here in the middle end of the circuit. Prado of Spain is in 4th, still with goggles. Seawer of Switzerland in 5th. De Wolf of the Netherlands is in 6th place, and he's the lead MX2 rider now as a result of Coenen's crash. His teammate Jeffrey Herlings is behind him. That is why they are on 13. A 7 and a 6 for their 2 riders. Australia with an 8 and 11. They've got a higher score to throw away than the Dutch, and the USA have an 18 that they'll be hoping to throw away with Cooper Webb, and they have a 2nd, with France having a 3rd in there as well. So Tim Gajser with a win, his teammate 34 that they need to throw away.
Yeah, and you might be asking, why wouldn't Febvre pull in for goggles, right? Well, there's not enough time left. There's only 3 laps, and also track position, him sitting in 3rd place, he simply can't do it. So again, we're in the same position. He has to either make a move or drop back. Right here, exiting every corner, whether it's a lapper or Eli Tomac, he will not be able to see.
And every point is vital. Remember, 1 point for a win, 2 for second. None of this 25 for a win, 22, 20, where you get a 3-point drop and a 2-point drop, and then eventually a 1-point drop. Here's Vial. He is outside the top 20 again. He's in 22nd place. He's just going through the motions here, probably thinking about regrouping ahead of the race 2, which is the open class riders and the MX2 riders.
Yeah, for France, they have to hope that they don't need this score. Very, very out of character for Vial. He's usually such a clutch performer.
De Wolf has found his way past Seawer. De Wolf picking up another point. He goes up in the 5th place now. Seawer of Switzerland down to 6th. That can only have happened on the triple left-right before the finish.
Now watch Seawer try to make a run back here. I don't think he's quite done with Kai de Wolf just yet.
Not yet. Keeping him to the outside there.
De Wolf's aggression in this race has really surprised me. He's really taking it to the MXGP guys.
Dropping downhill. It's a 90-degree turn as opposed to a 180 going back up, 180 coming back down, like in previous years, and then reconnecting in this next right-hand turn at the top of the hill, turn 5.
Just wonder for De Wolf, you know, he's been ridden so defensively over the last few weeks, trying to protect. You see Jeremy Seawer make a big mistake. He's ridden so carefully the last few weeks to protect that MX2 World Championship. He doesn't have any of that pressure. Speaking of pressure, if Jeremy Seawer doesn't get it together, Jeffrey Herlings is on the move.
Jeffrey Herlings closing in. This is where De Wolf, again, up on the pegs. Look, wheeling through the turn, off camber. So much going on. That was fantastic from De Wolf as he moved into 5th.
Yeah, it's impossible for me to describe how difficult it is to do what he just did.
And Herlings closing in, so the 2 Dutch riders in orange. Seawer sandwiched between them as Herlings nips up the inside of the Smurf, and he goes wheel to wheel with his teammate here. The Dutch now 5 and 6 in the race. They're going to be on 11 points when they hit the line at the end of this lap.
And for Herlings here, he doesn't have to make a move on De Wolf. It won't help them in the overall score here. So it is the last lap. It'll be interesting to see. You know, Jeffrey Herlings, he only knows one way, and that's forward. But big picture, there is no real reason to push here.
No, the only, like we said, we're on the final lap. The leaders have already gone through. 15 laps complete for Tim Gajser of Slovenia. Here he is on the Honda for HRC. Tomac, the Monster Energy Star Yamaha for Team USA. He's in 2nd. He's about 8 seconds back now. Febvre 2 seconds behind him without goggles, but he has a 5-second thereabouts, 4.7 second luxury over Jorge Prado, who is in 4th position. De Wolf is the first MX2 rider. He's in 5th. Doesn't matter if he's 6th, because his teammate, if he goes by him, the score for the Netherlands is still the same. It's a 5 or a 6, 5 and a 6 for both of them.
Yeah, and I bet Kai de Wolf would like to have that information that Jeffrey's back there and not Jeremy Seaver anymore. That would help him relax a little bit on this last lap as you see them in the background there.
Yeah, don't worry too much about the overall classifications at the moment, but just for us, where both races count, it'll be the same in race 2, where all 4 race results will count. It's not till we get to the end of the opening lap in the final race, which is Open and MXGP, when we really get to see the true picture, the outcome of what is the 77th edition of this Monster Energy FIM Motocross of Nations.
Febvre still trying to bring some pressure into Tomac here on the last lap.
Oriol Oliver, the Spaniard, he's in 26th place. He's about to get lapped by Tomac here. He's the guy in the red and yellow, just ahead of him in that next turn. But this is Gajser. It's been a fantastic performance from the 5-time world champion Tim Gajser from Slovenia.
Really important for Tomac to clear those lappers Oliveira there. If he follows through, that could give Febvre the chance he's looking for.
Uphill for the final time then for the number 25, Tim Gajser. He's been immaculate. He was unfazed. He got to the front early. And the number 25 will cross the line. He's already shaking his head, nodding his head. Gajser wins race 1 for Slovenia. Tomac will cross the line in 2nd place for the USA. Febvre 3rd for Team France. It should be Jorge Prado. Here he is in 4th. So Slovenia, America, France, Spain, and our first double pairing. De Wolf of the Netherlands and Herlings of the Netherlands. This was at the top of the hill. That was on the final lap. Vial went off the side of the track there in the MX2 qualifying race, more to the right on the inside. So a bit of a moment there for the number 19. But Prado, he crossed the line. Ash from GoPro there. He's going to be absolutely pumped with that performance as well, because Gajser was wearing one.
Yeah, and you see the sportsmanship from Prado. Those two went head-to-head all season long. So I think he's genuinely happy there for Tim Gajser.
Herlings did find his way past his teammate on the final lap to move into 5th place. De Wolf 6th, but De Wolf still the lead MX2 rider. Webster crosses the line any moment now in 11th. He had about 8 seconds over Raceless. He'll be the 2nd MX2 Raceless, the 3rd MX2 rider. Then we've got Van Donnik for Belgium, but with no Lucas Coenen. And if he doesn't line up in race 2, Belgium's hopes of a podium at the very least are going to be scuppered. Ruben Turlern there, the trainer for Kai de Wolf, just with the headset on. What a career he's had. Tyler Rattray, Ben Townley, Tyler Rattray, world champion. Ben Townley in the US when he rode for Mitch, when he won his Supercross Lights Championship, and he's won a multitude of world championships with Jeffrey Herlings, and a world championship this year with Kai de Wolf. So
I reckon he knows what it takes.
I think it's all about refinement.
See Cooper Webb come across in 17th there, so the USA will use that 17th for now. They'll be hoping they won't have to use that later.
But the Netherlands, 11 points for them. The USA on 19, Australia 19, France 25, and Germany 28. But when we put the results up on screen, look at the big numbers. They are the ones that the teams are going to be hoping to drop at the end of the day. But when you do have a high number, that puts the pressure on the team for the next 2 races, certainly in the next race. Anyway, here's Tim Gajser, your race winner. He's with Lisa.
Tim Gajser, great job. You got the start, pretty much a perfect race out there. Great start to Team Slovenia's campaign.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was enjoying out there. It's starting to get greasy, you know, with a little bit of rain. So starting to get slippery. Managed to take a good start. I was behind Jorge. Then I was a bit aggressive on the beginning, you know, trying to make a pass because I was getting roosted. And then for the moment, I mean, like for a couple of laps, I had the pressure behind me, and then I make a little gap and control the race. So it was really good.
Best of luck for the next race. Thank you.
Doesn't take a rocket scientist, does it, JT, to assume that the track was getting a little more greasy. I mean, in terms of track conditions, you prefer drizzle than outright pouring torrential rain. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think for this rider right here, Tim Gajser, a little bit of redemption in race 1. He did not get the world championship he was looking for, but I think that was a moment to show, hey, don't forget about me. I can still win the biggest races in the world.
Tim Gajser then wins race 1 for Slovenia, edging out Eli Tomac of the USA and Romain Febvre of France, the defending champions. Prado and Herlings, your top 5. Take a look at the highlights then, shall we? It was an explosive, there was a lot going on. just exactly what we expect at the Motocross of Nations. Let's take a look at the highlights of that first race then. MXGP and MX2. Here's what happened. Over on the inside gate, right-hand side, Tom Vial was slow to get away, but it was Prado with the foxhole shot. Gajser tucking in behind him, then Seawer, then Herlings on the 52. And just behind, you had the 14 there of Lucas Coenen. Kenny Roczen on the Suzuki, Eli Tomac alongside, and also Webster, the 5 closest to us in the green and gold. But it was Herlings on the charge immediately, and so too Eli Tomac. But Kenny Roczen, he went from 5th to 4th and then 3rd on the opening lap as Gajser swept around the outside of Prado.
Yeah, and that was really it for Gajser. The rest of it was smooth sailing. He made a quick, decisive pass. You see Jeffrey Herlings make a quick, decisive crash, and he was fighting his way back from there.
Yeah, he went from 3rd to 12th in that little moment as Tomac got the better of Prado. He moved into 2nd, went after Tim Gajser, and he got to within about a 2nd of the Slovenian. As Prado then came under attack from Romain Febvre, who took the front wheel away straight up the inside. That moved the Frenchman into 3rd. Big moment for Coenen. He was in 5th. He was the lead MX2 rider, and he was closing in on Prado, but then he had that crash. De Wolf then was the top MX2 with a 6 in the end. He was 5th at that point when he found his way past Seawer, but he had a good windman in behind him as well, picking himself up. Herlings up to 6th, and then he found his way into 5th on the final lap, but it was Gajser with the win from Tomac, Febvre, Prado and Herlings. This MX on is shaping up to be a good one. Take a look at the foxhole shot maybe, and then we'll hopefully show the results if we have time. Right, let's do the results then. Race result and classification if we have it. So Gajser wins it for Slovenia. 1 point, 2 points, 3 points. That's the scoring system. Lowest points at the end of the day wins. Tomac for the USA 2nd. Febvre, France 3rd. Spain with Prado 4th. The 2 Dutch riders, Herlings, De Wolf 5 and 6. Seawer of Switzerland, Hunter Lawrence. That was a good fight through. We didn't see too much of him, but there in 8th place headed Italian Ferrato and Germany's Ken Roczen. Then Webster, the 2nd MX2 rider, headed Racialis, Hara, Van Donnick, Lopez and McClellan. And then Webb there, 17th, header Langenfelder, Stauffer, Kevin Horgmo, Andrea Adamo, Vial, 22nd. They will be hoping to drop that score. And when we look at the overall classification coming in with the Netherlands on 11 points with a 5-6, USA on 19. They have a 2 and a 17 that they will be looking to drop, hopefully. Australia, same points, 19 with an 8-11. They'll be hoping to drop the 11 points. And when you've got to Germany on 25, they've got a 3 and a 22. They'll be hoping to drop the 22. So, sorry, that's France. Germany with 28 points. And Spain, but at the moment shaping up nicely for the Netherlands, the USA, Australia, and I will say France at this stage of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I would even say Australia. That 11th was really sneaky from Kyle Webster. They don't want to use it, but if they have to, an 11's not a bad score to have to use.
Yeah, 8-11 for the Aussies. So a lot to look forward to as the day rumbles on here. That was race 1. Of course, that was MXGP and MX2. Let's take a look at the foxhole shot. And it's Jan Panzer for Slovenia.
A little track prep in.
Jorge Prado then. He's banked about 75 grand in 75 grand in foxhole shot money so far in his career. There's another one. Anyway, Jorge Prado with the first foxhole shot. Can he get another one at the final race of the day? That's when he is out next. Good atmosphere. Take a look at some of the best moments, shall we? first race, and we just saw actually why Langenfelder was so far back, having one or two issues. Right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back in 35 minutes time, 2:30 local time, for race 2, which will be MX2 and Open. From me, from Jason Thomas, we'll see you then. Bye for now.